only say that somebody somewhere has got the timing all wrong, as the players who had been asked to wait in the tunnel for so long now come out onto the pitch before the strains of Abide With Me have been completed. They were called from the dressing room too early, but there's no doubt now about the warmth of the welcome they're receiving from the two sets of supporters for this 115th FA Cup final. Familiarity will not in any way breed contempt for Alec Ferguson. He loves the moment. It's something new for his opposite number. Roy Evans, who's taken his position to the right as we now look. The royal guests waiting as the teams have lined up. Duke and Duchess of Kent, who contribute so much in their role with the sporting calendar. The Duchess recently at the boat race, and with her husband always present at Wimbledon, and now coming to meet the teams. She waits. Sir Bert Middelchip went to John Barnes, but first the national anthem. First to the Liverpool team, with the captain John Barnes making the introductions. Stan Collymore, Rob Jones, Steve McManaman. He's been man of the match here twice in the League Cup and the FA Cup. Mark Wright, Jamie Redknapp, one of the newcomers, as is Jason McAteer. Plenty of experience on the pitch, but also some for whom this is something new. Not for John Scales there, he was in the Wimbledon side, but certainly new for Robbie Fowler. Ian Rush, well, he's almost had a season ticket. And the Duke staying long to talk to him. Tony Warner, the substitute goalkeeper. Michael Thomas had hoped to be in the starting lineup. And here now, Roy Evans, 47 years old, his third season in charge. A man who's been at Liverpool seemingly all his life. And the role now falls to Eric Cantona. Proud man, I'm sure. David Beckham. David May had to sweat on it a little bit. Nicky Butt, who has a loser's medal last year. Roy Keane. Gary Pallister, whose place was in doubt because of back problems. Andy Cole, who got the nod from the man immediately to his left, right as we look. Young Scholes, Lee Sharp gets in, and so does the other Neville. Haven't I seen you before, the Duke might perhaps be saying to Alec Ferguson. Third year running, and now the officials. Referee Dermot Gallagher and the two linesmen. Tony Bates, Peter Walton. And the fourth official, Paul Durkin. It's the last time for Sir Bert Middelchip, who retires in the summer. And he'll be 82 years in August. But he doesn't look anything like that age. Certainly he has served the game of football well. But I'm sure, like the rest of us, he's hoping that the organisation for the European Championship will be a great deal better than what we've just seen. It is a magnificent sight. Which of the teams will grace it the better? The choice for Roy Evans had to think about whether it was going to be Babb or Ruddock, but otherwise I think he knew his team from reasonably early in the week. And Trevor, this is how you think they're going to play.
Well, I think we know both sides so well, don't we? I think Jamie Redknapp, John Barnes, a big responsibility on those two to compete against Butt and Keane, who tackle so well in that central midfield. McAteer as well, wonderful cross for the ball down the right-hand side, but will he be too occupied looking after Ryan Giggs in the other direction? So many potential match winners. Let's see who's going to come up trumps.
Manchester United, if you've joined us late, the verdict in the end went to David May in place of Steve Bruce, who's not recovered from the hamstring injury, is not even on the bench. And Andy Cole starts with Paul Scholes on the bench, along with Gary Neville and Lee Sharp.
Well, again, they're fairly straightforward with a sort of 4-4. And Gab Cantona just withdrawn. Andy Cole, I think probably his pace was the reason perhaps he got ahead of Scholes in that final selection, and he has missed chances perhaps during the season, but what an occasion it would be if he ended up the hero today. But so many good supply lines coming from midfield and even the back as well, if Irwin and Philip Neville can get forward from those wide positions.
John McGallagher is 38 years old. Much older than John Barnes, although John likes to tell you he's still got plenty of life in him yet. He enjoys all this. He's not one of those players who desperately wants to get on with it. And we wait for the famous Frenchman. More joy yet for the sinner who repenteth. You call. Remember to change the banners. Such expectancy. Not much more I think Ferguson can do now. Rarely has so much been asked by so many to 22, and if necessary the substitutes. For the supporters, I suppose, what matters is the result, and today the word result means a win. But the rest of us hoping for something more to grace Wembley and to leave us with a cup final we'll always remember. Away we go. Cole's first touch, John Scales with him. Two arriving in the box, but quite late. Eric Cantona. The booing, like the envy that Manchester United have to put up with, has to be taken as a compliment. Keane. And Philip Neville couldn't put the brakes on. Indicative of confidence that he was looking for a more forward ball than that. And Jackie Milburn's fastest goal at Wembley at 45 seconds has survived. We passed the 45-second mark. Roy Keane, Nicky Butt. First test for Babb. Well, they're all appealing, and there did seem to be certain doubt about it, but the answer is goal kick.
Manchester United, I'm sure, delighted with that opening. God, 75 seconds, because it was mainly those who had the possession, and all the outfield players near enough got a touch of the ball, which is so essential in nervous occasions such as this.
It's Babb. Rob Jones, improvising with the right, but too long for Fowler. His right is his Favoured foot. Jones not fouled. I think he'd prefer the other side.
Yeah, it's been a problem for Rob Jones, really, from an England point of view, hasn't it? Having to switch to that left side with McAteer's outstanding form.
It's missed by Wright. And not comfortable at all for David James. Liverpool certainly haven't settled yet. Now they might. Chase for Collymore, but too far. Mark Wright trying to organise things at the back. Ball given. Roy Evans trying to win the one trophy which eluded Bob Paisley. There's certainly been a feeling at Liverpool that this would be the year to win. Bob Paisley dying only quite recently. Cole to Philip Neville. Pallister. David May. The Daisy and Dolly partnership has been broken up at the back. I'm sorry for Steve Bruce, but he does have plenty of medals and not the England cap that he deserved. It's Philip Neville. Bit of an encampment. By Scales. Cantona to Cole. His first attempt he didn't get right, but Cantona setting up the first possible threat. Got up well when Babb didn't, but having trapped it well, he just didn't make any sort of real contact, Andy Cole.
Well, there's a shame they had good build-up, and it was a good actual first chest by Andy Cole, just knocked the ball up in the air, just tried to reposition himself for the volley and sliced it badly, but definitely Manchester made the better start, haven't they? At the back for Liverpool, Mark White tends to play on the right of the midfield three. John Scales is the central man, and Phil Babb on the left.
That is Owen. Cantona. On by White boots. John Charles Barnes. Oh, well played, David Beckham. And Cole again. Still Cole. Came back into the challenge. He made it easier for the defender after good play by David Beckham.
That was a great ball by David Beckham, and he was clear. Andy Cole, with his pace, should never have got caught by the defender, but he tried to get it on his right foot and got caught in the tackle.
Here's Giggs. Beckham! Good stop. Well, what a confident strike from David Beckham that produced the parry, and David James must be wondering, when on earth is my team going to settle down? David Beckham, 21 only 9 days ago. Bit of curl, and he got a touch from Pallister. Really struck this well as Giggs came inside, had the room. Beckham is now making the move forward and hit it truly, and it was a good parry.
There's no doubt Manchester United will feel they should be ahead. They've had three chances, and certainly Beckham hit his one particularly well, but it was a nice height for somebody like David James. Although it was well struck, you would expect the goalkeeper to have pushed it around, but at the moment Liverpool can't get any cohesion at all, almost allowing Manchester to get possession and let them come onto them, which is almost what you expected Manchester United to do to Liverpool.
Ball fall down, and the free kick is against a rather bemused Andy Cole. Here's Redknapp. Babb. Barnes. And again the captain, the club captain, of course, on the bench, Ian Rush. by Giggs, which is very much a part of his game. Beckham again. Cantona. Cross intended to be returned to Beckham. First run of Steve McManaman, and Liverpool will need many from it. Jason McAteer. Collymore near post. Fowler further over. This is McManaman. Away by Irwin. Irwin. May. Cole at the moment is offside. On by Babb. Hesitation from Redknapp, not from Beckham. Philip Neville. Didn't quite work with Giggs, but even so, the champions are running a show at the moment. Ball was won by Pallister. Now Collymore. Massive players about 20 yards on either side of the centre circle. Neville. Giggs. Early ball in for Neville, but he wasn't alive to it. Robbie Fowler, being watched by his mother for the first time. This is Rob Jones. McManaman. Redknapp. Collymore might have a shot. Probably wishes he hadn't.
Well, the first little bit of build-up, but Brian Kidd and Alex Ferguson delighted, I'm sure, at the moment. The way Manchester are being allowed to knock the ball around, that Liverpool sort of, I think, playing too deep, letting them have possession and really not harassing and pressing into Manchester, and I think it's given them the initiative in this opening 10-minute spell.
Beckham is down this touchline. We've had 10 minutes in this final of Manchester United. We've yet to see Liverpool.
You can see the little cluster how Manchester had 1-2 extra men in midfield. Liverpool almost playing like a back five, and McAteer is just coming out now, and Jones the other side almost playing too deep. I think they've got to push them further forward and help out their midfield men.
Neville and McAteer. Well used, Pallister. Liverpool pushing up a bit, but there's a gap on the right side which Pallister didn't see, but I imagine this man will. He has indeed. Cantona. Quite lovely what we can see from the stand. Cantona can see from a flat position. But Redknapp. Liverpool. Manaman, first wander. Right. Collymore is left side forward. Fowler right. McAteer, they like to get forward, and he's a crucial part of their attack. And Manchester United will try to exploit any space he leaves behind him. McManaman. Here's Collymore, little touch in, and taken away by Philip Neville, the youngest player on the pitch, denying the most expensive. Here's Rob Jones, out by Pallister. Cantona. Good play by Eric Cantona, but to Cole, needs to be kept moving. He gets a second chance. Now McManaman. Pace picking up, contest picking up. I think we've got one now. Here's Collymore. Corner. First of the match for Liverpool. United have had one as well.
Yeah, not the greatest of crosses. Don't think he's going to beat Peter Schmeichel from the near post, but we almost overlooked at Eric Cantona's wonderful run earlier to set up the Manchester attack.
Off Pallister. Mark Wright with plenty of time. McManaman. Right. Collymore for the diagonal run. This is he. They've certainly joined the contest. James well out. It just shows you, Trevor, from that run by Cantona. Cole, oh dear, no, we can do without that. A little bit of trouble involving Roy Keane and Robbie Fowler. The crowd have been warm in their rivalry and no more. It would be nice if that was shown on the pitch as well.
It was a fair challenge really by Robbie Fowler, but he got the free kick, and look, Roy Keane, why does he have to go, and then he puts his head against Fowler, and quite right, he pushes him away. Roy Keane has got his free kick, why does he have to get involved then, disputing anymore?
Sunshine adorns Wembley. Keane given a chance to cool down in that sunshine. Keane again. I'm sure we'll see that moment from Cantona again at half-time. Unfortunately, something that had nothing to do with football, rather interrupted us looking at it. But he set up a beautiful attack, which was rather lost by Andy Cole. Jones. Keane. Pallister. Neville. His brother last year has made a really good start. His brother, of course, finished with a loser's medal. He's onside given Andy Cole here. But he can't get it across. It's wobbly legs at the moment, I'm afraid.
He had acres of space, didn't he? I mean, Liverpool, the arms were up, looking for the offside. It wasn't going to come, but He should have then cut in and got some sort of shot. He was caught in 2 minds. Should I shoot and cross it? By the time he did, of course, he was caught in possession.
The curl, but well held. Beautiful take by David James.
At the moment, though, you have to say, Manchester United, who had to be really sharp and play for every game right up to the last Saturday, are looking a side that had to do that, whereas Liverpool are looking a side that for 2 or 3 weeks didn't have a lot on their league games and have almost coasted into this final, and they've coasted into this first quarter now.
McManaman, long run for McAteer. He wasn't alive to the possibilities, which again is indicative of perhaps the feeling with Liverpool. They had a poor game at Arsenal, and then they didn't play particularly well at Manchester City, but sadly for Manchester City supporters too well to prevent that club going down. They're looking a little anxious, not so much the manager but the others on the Liverpool bench. Unnecessary challenge by Wright, which has produced a bit of afters, and we've got another tussle, which the referee was close to, spoke about, and allowed play to continue. Good piece of refereeing in my book. Oh, goodness me. Bad testing, David James.
You can give it a smirk now that David James has called it. I don't think he'd have been smiling and gone a little bit harder.
Rob Jones, who is hurt after the hurdling. Wright trying to get to the ball certainly seemed to meet a challenge from behind, and then as they got up, they just rolled around a bit together. Together again.
Yeah, I think it was the referee quite rightly played the advantage. It's one of those that went on for such a long time in play and didn't go out. Whether he could have gone back and then booked Mark White, because it is a sort of tackle from behind that in a league match I think would have been seen a yellow card.
Good touch by Cantona, beautifully taken by Giggs. Cantona wants to return, denied twice, but it was the ball hitting the hand of John Scales. Great shouts from Manchester United supporters, but never a penalty. Cantona again. Philip Neville. Giggs and Cole in the middle.
There's an arrogance, isn't there, about the Football of the Year today. There's little flicks. He's just controlling and orchestrating a series of dangerous-looking attacks by Manchester.
Well, he says it's not arrogance, it's confidence, but there's a very thin line between the two. And he's playing quite beautifully. Pallister. May. Showed during his run in the team an ability to come forward from the back. To play in the fullback position when he first came from Blackburn because of injuries, but no doubt where his true position is, and it's where he's playing today. Giggs away again. And Wright having to come across. Might be some reluctance though from Jason McAteer to get forward too often, because he knows he'd have to be very quick to get back. Cover by Owen, Schmeichel there.
I just think they're sort of playing as a side far too deep. I think as a unit they've got to just move up sort of 20 or 30 yards, get in amongst Manchester.
Jones's cross. Well, they got half of it. A bit of space for McAteer. McManaman lolloping out to the right. This is Collymore. Improvised a side footer as he heard the feet of Beckham. bit of an argument between Keane and Giggs going on. Ryan Giggs certainly prepared to make his point to Roy Keane and one or two others. Father figure of the youngsters, only 22, but been around for so long it seems. Fifth season. Robbie Fowler gets the free kick. Redknapp. Space on the left for Jones. Barnes goes the other way. Scales.
You see how Manchester are pushing forward and the defenders of Liverpool haven't got time to knock it around, whereas when Manchester get possession, they're actually dropping back to the halfway line and saying, go on, knock it around amongst yourself, and it's given the confidence to Manchester. And Liverpool, I think at the moment, are squandering the possession that we all thought they were going to keep much easier than Manchester, and they look a shadow of their normal selves. And when they've done so well against Manchester this season, they've really gone at them, gone for the jugular and put them under pressure. But look, they're letting them knock it around and say, go on, you can have it in your half.
Matches between the two sides. 2-2 draw at Old Trafford. 2-0 win by Liverpool at Anfield. All their goals in the contest scored by Robbie Fowler. Here's red boots. Bit obvious from Jones. This is the appeal for the handball here.
Well, I agree with you there, Barry. That one was not even an instinctive arm going out, was it? He just wrapped against his arm and no intent at all. Quite right, the decision to play on.
Free kick against Roy Keane. McManaman and Keane. Free kick, and Roy Keane definitely needs to calm down. Doesn't have a good record, and his temper is a little bit short this afternoon.
What do you mean this afternoon, then? I mean, it's usually the way he plays, I think.
The referee didn't give a free kick for that. Unlucky Jamie Redknapp. Scales didn't look, but is fortunate. Oh, so is James. I just think Roy Evans must feel that it's a nightmare and he's going to wake up in a minute and find that the match actually hasn't started.
The great relief is that somehow or other they're still goalless. I mean, they haven't conceded a goal. They've played very poorly for 25 minutes, and here they are still 0-0.
And to repeat the phrase, certainly very lucky to be nil. Fowler, McAteer. Collymore couldn't get to it, that was a good stretch, and is then claimed and then lost by Schmeichel, and away by Pallister. Funny old game.
Superb cross by McAteer. I mean, he is a wonderful crosser on the run, and it was a difficult one to deal with, but in the end it was a mix-up between Schmeichel and Irwin that nearly enabled Liverpool to get a clear opening.
If memory serves me right, in the 77 meeting, which is the only meeting between these two sides in the cup final, although in the FA Cup they're now meeting for the 9th occasion, Liverpool were on top, but it was Manchester United who scored first. indication there is perhaps that Liverpool have come to scoring against the run of the play. Just slight hesitancy. Owen got in the way. Fowler couldn't get to it, and Pallister gave it air.
It was a good interception initially from Pallister at the near post, because he couldn't take the chance somebody was behind him. But as you say, it was Schmeichel and Irwin said, after you, and then they both collided, didn't they, with each other. I wouldn't have liked to have been Dennis Irwin if something had ended up in the back of the net. Peter Schmeichel, I don't think would have been that understanding, shall we say.
McManaman. Bev didn't expect to get that, but he was successful. Collymore. Fowler was on his own, and the pass was over his head.
Well, it was back in November they reckoned Liverpool lost the Premiership, didn't they, when they had a poor month. But after that they really surged forward and have played some wonderful football. But today they've just given the ball away so much, and I think that's a credit to Manchester, the way they've put them under pressure, particularly the back three, and they've certainly got to get their act together shortly, otherwise they are going to fall behind.
McAteer for company, and it forced Giggs to play too far away from himself. Collymore. McManaman. McAteer. 4 possibilities, but not with a cross like that. Chase for Cole. Rounded down by Scales. One by Butt, then by Fowler. But all the noise is coming from the supporters of Manchester United, as far as I can see, looking around the stadium. Barnes. Free kick is given in Liverpool's favour.
And there was 4 or 5 snapping at the heels of Redknapp and Barnes, who are outnumbered. Look at them, it's the quartet really of Butt, Keane, Giggs and Beckham. Giggs and Beckham are tucking in with Keane and Butt, and really are snapping away at the heels of Liverpool.
Well, we've had a third of the match. No score. Here's Collymore. Well, his sights are coming down. He was a great deal better than his first effort. Brian Kidd, like his manager, must be wondering why it is that Manchester United are not in front. Collymore's had 2 shots now. That was certainly the better of the 2.
Yeah, he's been a little bit more involved probably of the attack, but Stephen McManaman hasn't been able to get into it. Roy Keane sort of staying fairly close to him when he picks the ball up, so he's not been able to run at them. And probably the quietest of the lot, though, in the opening half hour is Robbie Fowler, although we all know how dangerous that could be, to say that.
McManaman. Fowler just up ahead. Barnes. Redknapp. McManaman telling Jones to go down to the left touchline. Fowler, wide is McAteer. Useful ball. Collymore peels away, but nobody comes in from the far side.
But it was a poor cross, wasn't it? I said what a great crosser of the ball Jason McAteer is. He put one, duff one at the near post, and then whacked that one about 20 yards beyond the far post. So definitely put the jinx on him, haven't they?
Bruce down on the bench alongside Brian McClare and Paul Parker. None of them involved except for spectators. Good challenge, Dennis Irwin. Cantona. Almost attempted a tackle then, Cantona. Had he done so, he would have been somewhat late. Won by Redknapp. Cantona. Well reached by Scales. The neutral had hoped for an early goal. We haven't had it. We're watching a rather curious contest. It's interest gained because of some strange things that have been going on.
Well, they've been forced into mistakes, Liverpool, more than anything, but they're so deep. Look, they're playing in there half. They're not hurting Manchester at all because of that little cluster in the middle, and now they've managed to spread it.
But you feel that by now, with Liverpool playing that way, United should have hurt them.
In the last 10 minutes, that sort of attacking threat has diminished somewhat, and you know, that would have been worried Alex Spurs, and he would have felt at this stage they should have been ahead.
Kick given for hand, it would seem, the indication from the referee. And the second verdict goes against Beckham, and he's a little unlucky. Jones. Build up is slow. Now Collymore. Thought for a split second about the third shot. Fowler. His first shot.
Yeah, it was a bit of an apology one, wasn't it? Caught in two mind, and again, not being able to create anything really in that penalty box. Most of it has been fairly deep, and at the moment the shooting boots not on.
Opted for safety, David James. Don't blame him for that. Owen. But bit short. Owen did well to get there. Cantona shouldn't have been allowed to. Cole was standing still, McAteer wasn't. Pallister. Keane. Poor ball. Just in the right place, but nothing like hard enough, and too close to the player, enabling the interception. Manchester United, the 7th in total, and the 3rd team since the war to play in 3 successive finals. It's Cantona, but Beckham. Feed across it too. Good clearing header by John Scales.
He did ever so well there, John Scales, because he was caught a little bit at the near post, but anticipated the cross and made the ground to get there to retrieve it. Good build-up play by Manchester again, and telling cross by Beckham.
Pallister near post. Cole further back. Cantona just on the edge of the 6-yard box. That's David May for the diagonal run. James has lost it, but he just got a fingertip. Bit strong from Keane. Not playing particularly well, Roy Keane. What a good ball that is from young Neville. Giggs. Little flick. Flag stayed down, but there were 2 in.
I think McAteer got stuck in there at the far post. I don't think the offside decision would have gone their way. He played them all on, but fortunately the header just cleared everyone. But again, at the moment, it's frustrating watching it, I'm sure, for the Manchester United bench and their supporters, because they're not quite putting it in the back of the net, which they should have done by now.
about 8 minutes of the first half left to put that right. Giggs. Chance of a counter here. Collymore. Fowler's run is to the far post and across. Davy May's clearance. Bannister made it rather difficult for himself, and then for Keane. Redknapp reacts as quickly as Giggs, who's in aggressive mood. McManaman. Defender's ball. Good header. Beckham. Cantona thinks about the early run. That's a good ball from Beckham. Giggs. Cole and Cantona waiting forward. Beckham now on the edge of the box. Here he is, number 24. Cole pulls away. Cantona back post.
Well, it cleared everyone because it was a shot. It wasn't the cross that Cantona was looking for, but certainly the younger players like Beckham, Philip, Neville, Ryan Giggs, who we've got to include, Nicky Butler, have settled down to the final superbly, look totally comfortable.
Another youngster, John Barnes, didn't quite manage to follow that through. Alistair. Cole. Nobody in there at the moment. Now Giggs. Andy Cole was entitled to expect better support than that. Maybe they were just a touch surprised that he won the ball. Fowler. McManaman. Fowler again. Trying to go the long way round. And the door was very comprehensively closed.
Well, that attacking trio of Liverpool getting so isolated, they're getting no support from the back. 7 Liverpool players are back in their half, and it's left to McManaman, Collymore and Fowler to try and prize open against 6 United players.
Jones. Scales. Collymore. Barnes. Jones. Collymore. McAteer. And a good cross this time. Answer in the negative. Right. We've got 5 minutes of... I reckon the final analysis will go down as a disappointing first half, unless something lifts it. There's 5 minutes remaining. Still scoreless. McManaman. McAteer. Plenty of Liverpool players forward this time. McManaman. Giggs. Keane did well to let it run and was then caught by Redknapp. And the referee has decided that the match needs the statistic. And it's a yellow card for that challenge by Redknapp on Roy Keane, who was moving away the other way.
Yeah, unlikely source for the first yellow card, Jamie Redknapp, but it was a mistimed tackle, and probably, as you say, Dermot Gallagher feeling the time was right to show one. But at the moment, again, still Manchester looking the more composed side, and I'm sure it's Roy Evans who will do more of the talking at half-time, trying to resolve matters, and be quite happy if his side can stay 0-0 to go into that half-time talk.
Neville. Bannister. Beckham. The other two teams have played in 3 finals running since the war, Arsenal and Everton. both finished up with a record of 1 win and 2 defeats. Manchester United's record at the moment is 1 success and 1 defeat, third being played. It's Pallister. He grimaces, and rightly so. Pallister. Jones. Barnes. His first foray forward, and then a pass like that. Dear, dear. Oh, Liverpool substitutes there. I wonder what Ian Rush thinks about all this.
I should think he's quite pleased he's not out on the pitch, because he wouldn't have seen much of the ball, would he? Because you know, his service from midfield and the back has been poor, and the back really have struggled. It's really that distribution which you would expect Mark Wright, John Scales, Phil Babb to be comfortable with, but you know, when they had brought it out, and they've got to bring it out really to commit the midfield, where Manchester are totally dominating, but at the moment they've squandered possession.
Jones. Barnes. Jones calling for it, but in a static position. Wins a corner. Sort of afternoon, the way the match is going, and in its rather curious fashion, that perhaps Rob Jones will finally end his goal scoring. Failure to score. 114th match today, and he still hasn't scored for Liverpool. Here's Redknapp. Barnes. McManaman. Redknapp had taken a good position, wasn't seen. McManaman. Here's Redknapp. When the crowd came to him, he lifted his head and up it went.
It was better, wasn't it? Unfortunately for Manchester, it's Ryan Giggs who's left one against one with McManaman. Good pullback, Mark Wright setting it up for Jamie Redknapp. Just snatches, doesn't he? But he did have a 3 or 4 yards, should have kept it down. Peter Schmeichel spreads his arms, but no need to worry about that one. And a little bit of a glimmer at least for Liverpool on their build-up play.
The referee has had one look at the watch. Big day for him too. Hasn't had the whistle too much in the first half, hasn't had a note too much in the first half. And probably like the rest of us is slightly surprised that it's a blank score sheet in terms of Manchester United, who've dominated much of the half, but haven't really too often seen the sights of David James's goal. And the two managers go off. Roy Evans leading the way. Perhaps he feels he's going to need a little bit more time. Eric Cantona has one wonderful moment from him and some early passes, but the early flow did rather disappear from Manchester United, although they retain rather more possession. Certainly more for Roy to say, Trevor.
Yes, I think they've defended far too deep. I think they've got to push up as a whole unit. They've got to try and get and battle the midfield where Manchester have dominated, and it means the supply, you know, to Collymore and Fowler and McManaman has been poor. So Manchester have just really got to add that little bit of cutting edge to the dominance that they've had in the first 45 minutes.
In everything that Manchester United created, and I thought he's going to have some game. But because Liverpool obviously worked hard on the training ground at nullifying him, he really hasn't had any of the ball at all in that last half an hour. And certainly when he has had it, it's not been in areas where he could hurt them.
So the message really from the two managers at half-time will be a little more attacking verve in the second half, a little more urgency perhaps.
I would have thought so. I would have thought that both managers will go in and say, you know, we don't want to, you know, have a Newcastle-Liverpool game. We've got to play sensibly, but we have to not play with so much caution. We have to believe we can go out and beat the opposition. And when we get in that last third of the field, let's be positive to create an opening like McManaman did in that last couple of minutes. He went past 2 defenders, crossed it into the box, and Redknapp finished up with a chance.
Well, in total, 575 football clubs have been involved in this season's FA Cup. The competition starting back on the 26th of August. And I suspect that 1 or 2 teams who are sitting by their television sets watching this will say, we played better than that. Well, this is a contest between the top 2 scorers in the Premiership. 189 goals in 100 games. Liverpool on 98 and United on 91. Well, how much will he remember the day? At the end, the Royal Highnesses return to the royal box, and I would think, like the rest of us, hoping for better things in this second period. No changes. Peter Robinson in the foreground, and I must say the gentleman behind bears a great similarity to Eric Cantona, and I know that Eric's mother and father and 2 brothers are in the crowd. A little bit of a wind blowing up at the start of the second half. And if you've just come in from somewhere to join us in the cup final, there's no score. And to be absolutely truthful, I would have to tell you haven't missed too much, but from here on in, it's a long walk. Nick Ferguson is there, but Roy Evans yet to reach his seat. Philip Neville. David James's parry, which for a man of his height at 6'5" was not desperately testing, is the only save we've had. Did it well, even so. Sharply struck. Chase for Robbie Fowler. Scored in every round, Robbie Fowler. Last man to do that was Peter Osgood in 1970. And here is Robbie Fowler, he's offside.
First bit of indecision really by David May of Manchester, caught in 2 minds, trying to build up play, and of course it ricocheted then to Fowler, but he was standing in an offside position, and as soon as he got possession he had to be interfering with play.
From the tunnel end, Schmeichel clears, met by Wright. Keane. Neville. In the England squad for the match here next week against Hungary. Nicky Butt, Cantona, Butt, Owen, promising, away by Scales, but here's Beckham. Cantona behind Jason McAteer. Cantona! Good save! Really good stop. Just got the joining point between arm and hand right on the wrist. Kept this one out. Came back to Cantona, hit it very hard indeed. It was a really good save by David James, and indeed in the follow-up. Comes for the corner and claims well and holds well in spite of being thumped from behind. Good stuff from David James.
There's a wonderful save. Just dropped nicely, didn't it, for Cantona on his volley, and instinctive right hand shot out. It was definitely going to creep in that near post, and also jumped up quickly to make sure he blocked the follow-up as Andy Cole was coming in.
Collymore. McManaman. McAteer. Found the gap behind for the first time. It's not out yet.
Just dropping is not an easy one to hit at full stretch. Kept it down well and just shot the hand out. And look at him getting up for a big fella. And he then put Andy Cole off as he followed up. So it was a good double save. And again, another opportunity, I suppose, from Manchester's point of view, slips by.
Giggs, a bit too strong, but it was well taken by Cantona, and then it reared up for him unkindly. This is Collymore. The early action has heightened the atmosphere a bit. Quite sure what Robbie Fowler was intending to do there.
But again, you had McManaman, Fowler and Collymore against, what, 6-7 Manchester United players who were working back. And again, no support from the flank wing-backs or the two central midfielders. It's definitely still in midfield where Manchester have got total control.
Still the balance of this Liverpool-sponsored FA Cup final in favour of the team in red. They won the choice, incidentally, to play in their colours, Manchester United. Jones. Redknapp. A lot of work from McManaman. He was moving early. Liverpool have pushed up to the halfway line. Certainly need to push up rather more than they did in the first period. It's Collymore. Free kick. Interesting point. The challenge was from behind, but I'm not sure that Collymore made any attempt actually to play that.
He tended to wait for it. Pallister came in front of him, and I thought he was a bit unlucky there.
Redknapp to take. Scales has gone up to the far side, just behind Fowler. Jones threatening on the edge of the 18-yard area. Collymore just inside it. It's McAteer. Redknapp. Hugely disappointing. Didn't hear any complaints at half-time that the Liverpool side wearing strange shirts couldn't find each other, but you might wonder.
Two wearing strange boots as well. Don Barnes with his white ones and Stan Collymore with his red. But at the moment, they're not linking together, are they? Again, still looking hurried.
Mark Wright, who was captain when they won in '92. Debut in a cup final for Jamie Redknapp, and the recipient of the ball here, Phil Babb. McManaman says played early. Had to come back for it in the end. Now he's made a bit of a gap there, did the run by Fowler. And this is McAteer. That is not Premiership quality.
That was a combination of mistakes, you know, one or two bad bits of control, ended up passing the ball to teammates, and in the end, I think the shot summed it up. It wasn't a controlled, constructive move. I thought Steve McManaman could have released Robbie Fowler a little bit earlier over the other side.
McManaman. Challenged by Dennis Irwin. Gets his corner. Redknapp has gone across to take. Plenty of encouragement from the Liverpool supporters at that end. Many with interesting hairstyle. Fowler and Irwin having a wrestling match in the 6-yard area. Bannister missed it. Scales, Giggs. Can't be done. Beckham. No foul. Referee was very well placed and reckoned that Beckham lent in on Barnes.
That's a time when I think they should have put the pressure on John Barnes and Jamie Redknapp really alongside their 3 central defenders, and I do feel 1 or 2 of them could push further forward to support the front trio more.
True to say that Jamie Redknapp hasn't quite found the form again after coming back from a long injury. He's out 4 months with a hamstring, injured here at Wembley against Switzerland, playing for England. Away by Scales.
Had a good match, I think, John Scales, in the middle of the trio of central defenders. Some timely interceptions, good reader of the ball, of the situation, and I think he's been very composed today. Needed to be as well, hasn't he?
Corner at one end, followed by corner at the other. Giggs this time. James has come a long way and held it well again. Growing in presence as a goalkeeper with Liverpool, 25 years old. He's among the standby players for England. Manaman, Fowler had made the run. McAteer had to come from a long way back, plenty of defenders back. Oh, poor clearance by Bannister. Poor shot by Redknapp. It is very ordinary fare, it has to be said. We've got 007 here, added to a crowd of 79,000. That's the figure. Some people have gone missing, because it should be 79,500 if it was a sellout. And we certainly need something to bring it to life with quality like that. I tell you, Animals doesn't want to see the draw. And like the rest of us, we'd like to see a rather higher quality final from 2 of the best teams in the land. It's disappointing enough for those of us who are lucky enough to be in a privileged seat. It must be very disappointing if you paid good money.
Well, on paper, I must say, I was hoping this was going to be a more open game than normal, but when you don't get that early goal, it has become a very cautious affair, hasn't it, with neither side willing to take that chance, throw that extra man forward to get the opening.
Acclaimed again by James. He's been very acrobatic. Record goal scorer in the FA Cup. Just a rush and at Wembley in finals. Bab. But goal kick. No reward for a lot of industry.
Already 12 minutes into the second half. I suppose both managers do at this stage start to think, well, shall I change things? But you know, from Liverpool's point of view, Ian Rush is an obvious one, and Michael Thomas sitting on the bench, and the alternatives certainly Manchester United were Scholes, Sharp, more likely attackers rather than Gary Neville, who's a defender. But again, who do they take off at this moment? And Manchester probably would be happier with the way their side is playing, but I wouldn't think that you'd see a change yet away.
John Barnes. Redknapp. It's all across the face, and Manchester United have all back by 1. Andy Cole. starting lineups. United 6 players and Liverpool 5 who already possess winners' medals. 2 more for Liverpool on the bench. Also winner of Man United, free kick against Irwin.
Yes, I think Dennis Irwin not impressed. I must say, I did think Robbie Fowler was going nowhere there, knocked the ball beyond him and almost fell into him looking for the free kick, and I can understand him not being too pleased with that decision.
Especially after Beckham didn't get his a minute ago. Redknapp's cross. And Schmeichel needs to recover his position. Barnes, Fowler, McManaman. Collymore was hoping for the cross and got half a yard on his marker.
I think it'd have been on the right-hand side, McManaman would have knocked it across early. Just been on that left flank, he was trying to get it on the outside of his right foot.
Easier for Schmeichel. Giggs. Nice spin round. Good use, Beckham. Still, dear oh dear. Filled that in the book without any question. Really poor challenge.
Making the challenge with his wrong foot, really. It's a right-footed challenger, but it was so mistimed. I don't think there's any question. The yellow card was the minimum, wasn't it?
Keane. Did well there, Scales, and had to. Fowler. McManaman. Getting to see a little bit more of the ball. Taking it away from others.
Well, look how many are back tackling. I mean, Roy Keane, there was 3 defenders all homed in, and he'd already beaten 2 players. I mean, I think that is the difference at the moment between the 2 sides.
Seen by Redknapp. Good strike. Hit that really well, but it flew absolutely straight to Peter Schmeichel. Saw it early, had the opportunity, didn't hesitate. Cantona.
I'd say Liverpool joined their best spell of the match, probably not difficult. Manchester, although they've had a bit of possession, that man there, Paul Scholes, might feel that he's got a better chance to come on because there's an attacking force in the second half. They haven't really figured that much, and perhaps that Andy Cole change would be the obvious one if Alex Ferguson feels that his side aren't doing enough going forward.
Free kick. Fowler, the player, brought down in the end. And Scholes has clearly been told that his chance is nigh. But for all the world then, as he was about to be arrested. Here's Redknapp. McAteer. Redknapp. McManaman. Back court, McManaman. Corner.
Mickey Butt getting choked off by Roy Keane there about getting called in possession by Jamie Redknapp. That was nearly very, very costly.
Been a long time in coming, but this is a period of a Liverpool threat. Redknapp. Scales at the back. The substitution is imminent, and Andy Cole is already walking towards the touchline, and one has some sympathy for him. The chances he had at the start of the match he wasn't able to use, and he's seen very little of the ball in the second half. He'll be a very lonely man as he sits on the bench. Paul Scholes, another youngster brought into the action. He was in the youth side in '93. '92 was the side captained by Giggs, and the Nevilles and Beckham and Butt were in both. The basis of this arrival of the youngsters at Old Trafford. Liverpool currently in the final of the Youth Cup and have a lead against West Ham United. Neville. Make a point in passing that Alec Ferguson and Jimmy Hill are on exactly the same wavelength. Substitution suggested has been made, but around the right time. Seen by Keane. Scholes. Beckham. Straight to Keane. I believe the ball's been given away so often. Neville. Well ahead of his man was Rob Jones. Barnes. McManaman. McAteer. Near post is Collymore. McManaman. Jones coming to help Collymore. Barnes wants it diagonally, number 10 here. Babb. Sent several letters.
Great challenge again by Glenn Scales, because it was a 4 against 3. Andy called it. Cole, watching the action, you have to feel sympathy for him, because we know he hasn't had the best of seasons. Opportunity given in the starting lineup today to become the hero. There he is, taken off, and desperately wanting to play well in an FA Cup final.
It might have been significant that he scored with his first touch at Middlesbrough on Sunday. That was his strength when he didn't think. Maybe a more all-round player, but his predatory instinct seems to have left him for the moment. By David May. McAteer. Redknapp. Well, presumably he thought there was going to be a diagonal run, but it would have had to have been of greyhound proportions. It would seem that the occasion of a cup final drains even the best. It's often been the case, to tell the truth. Here's Fowler. McManaman, Collymore, Barnes. Forced through the challenge by Scholes. Too short. Well, it was taken and is very well claimed.
Got a cross, and it just would have gone beyond Schmeichel. Stan Collymore, see him at the far post. Could have been offside when the ball was played, but didn't matter. The goalkeeper claimed it, but definitely in the ascendancy for Liverpool at the moment.
McAteer. Seen a lot of the ball. And the timing there is sufficiently awry for a further yellow card. He's a better player than this challenge. Right with the right. And oh dear.
I think it had to be a yellow card, didn't it, after Jamie Redknapp and Phil Babb, similar type of tackles, and so that's 2-1 on that score, but we can't get one in the back of the net somewhere.
It's not only that, the quality that we're being offered is so poor from players who are far better than what they're showing us here. I mean, the field is full of international players, and players, young players of great promise. But the occasion seems to be denying either group, showing us what they're capable of. McAteer. Minutes of the normal 90 remaining. Collymore coming to the near post again. Fowler behind him. Ball cross. Well, there has always been at least one goal in the cup final at Wembley. This is the 68th final to be played here. George Much left it late. Free kick. Penalty for Preston North End against Huddersfield Town. 38. Here in 1996, number 23 is Philip Neville. Good run by Scholes. James always the favourite.
A sense of air of frustration, don't you, about the supporters? They're so bemused, I think, at the inability of either side at the moment to really create openings and look as if they're going to create openings, let alone score the goal. And it has been, when you think, as you said, the top goal scorers in the Premiership, and we had such poor quality in attacking play. Not a good sign. Terry Venables, as we saw earlier, sitting up there thinking about Euro 96, who might, in either of these sides, get in his lineup.
Collymore just gets away from David May. Nobody to pull it back to. It had all gone to the left side. There was no one on the right side at all. Here's McManaman. And there is another cross that he will look back upon with regret.
I mean, in the Premiership, week in and week out, he puts in early pacey crosses, which, I mean, Newcastle will be testimony to that in that thrilling game. 4-3 against them. He really did put some testing crosses in, yet today it's just gone all haywire, and at the moment you just wonder where we're going to get the quality pass to give us an opening for a goal.
McManaman. Fowler. Changed his mind, Babb. Got back a long way to keep possession here. Robbie Jones. Goal kick. The imminent arrival of a Liverpool legend. Played by Giggs. Cantona. Picked out the widest man, Irwin. Irwin again. Off balance when he crossed, but he finds Cantona. Out by right. The fella did well to get in front of his man. And the free kick is given. And the 670th appearance in a Liverpool shirt of Ian Rush is about to take place. And listen to the welcome he's being given. Well, so far it's been a disappointing story, and now particularly for Stan Collymore, the man he's replaced. Is there to be an ending which will give us a final to remember?
I wouldn't rule it out, would you? But I mean, it's a straight swap, isn't it? Rush coming on for Collymore. I mean, when they go a goal behind, Liverpool then playing the three of them up there, and they just wondered whether Evans might decide to go more positively and look for the win. But it's a straight swap.
Giggs, Neville, but May, Keane and Scholes forward. Cantona's gone out to the right. This is Butt. Time for Bannister. Giggs. But ball being worked around. Free weight for United in the area. And the header was from Keane. Scholes with no real chance of getting on the end of it. McManaman. Wait a long time for his first touch, Ian Rush. Comes now. Ball and Gary Bannister almost at the same time. Scales, nice touch. He intended it. Rush again, given the ball and Bannister at the same time. Scholes. Keane. Didn't quite intend that. Ball back by Rush for Liverpool. Good play in Rush. Even got a wall pass with Neville. Free kick is given for an unnecessary challenge, really, on Beckham in that position. Q forming in the middle. Keane and David May part of it. Cantona just right at the penalty spot. Bannister up as well. Will just left Neville back in the centre circle, where he's joined by Peter Schmeichel. Curled in. And again, taken in simple stride by safe hands. Done well for Redknapp. Well, I could have welcomed Ian Rush by saying this is his last appearance for Liverpool, but the way this game is going, you never know. Extra time will follow, 90 if needed, and then of course the replay next Thursday. Scales, Barnes. Scales rather tipping things against himself. Met by Owen. Redknapp, bit of space for Barnes. Didn't move into it, played it early instead. Here's Fowler. McAteer, Rush far side. Came on as a sub against Everton and scored twice and decided the final. Waiting now in the centre. Redknapp, blocked by Keane. Cantona. Giggs. No one right side, but he might go alone. Cantona looking for the cross. Giggs. Good run. Just didn't quite work at the end. And there were a couple of options just too far away from Scholes, and Cantona left the spectator. Fowler, Jones, Rush on the edge of the area, comes short for it. Not too many are successful trying to find Peter Schmeichel off his line. He's such a big presence.
At the moment it's been one of those days, hasn't it, for Robbie Fowler? Not his weaker right foot, but never threatening, never called it properly. Because now with Stan Collymore off, they have lost one of their players, McManaman. They're about the only two that actually take on defenders in their side, and Ian Rush, very much like Robbie Fowler, a finisher, and so that sort of almost cuts down their options unless they get some good supply.
Barnes. Fowler. This is McManaman. Well, I can only say that the disorganisation at the start set the pattern. There it has remained. I mean, to look at it again is almost unfair to a player of McAteer's quality. 8 minutes of the 90 left. Given away by Schmeichel. McManaman. One assumes that Peter Schmeichel got bored then. Babb. Barnes. Babb. One instead by Cantona. Keane. For the team looking for the double-double. Mount on the edge of the 18-yard area. Owen, Babb couldn't get to it because Mr. Gallagher was in his way. Here's Butt again. Cantona! Who next? Mark Wright. Now McManaman. Off Keane. Barnes. Giggs with time to find Philip Neville. Just staying with him. Rush is in the middle. McManaman on the edge of the 18-yard area, seen by May. Poor ball from Neville. It's a second chance to do better. Only Butt's determination and the fact that McManaman took his eye off the ball won it for United. And here is Butts, away by Babb. Puff of the cheeks from Phil Babb. Hope rising for Manchester United supporters. Scholes in the 6-yard area, 5 behind. James gets there just first. Cantona! There is to be a memorable end to a poor cup final. James didn't quite get there, punched down, but how he balanced his body to strike it truly through the crowd. Eric Cantona.
Well, it's a mistake, unfortunately, David James not getting there. Coming off Ian Rush, it's a great volley, but look, why couldn't anyone get their body or their head there? And the reaction there, look, says it all. And Alex Ferguson, it's the sharpest I've seen him this season, I must say, off the bench. But it was almost a surprise, wasn't it, to get the goal.
Here is McAteer. Met by Keane, who's really tidied things in the second half and does so again. He's won a lot of balls in the middle and defensively. Here's Michael Thomas getting a touch while the goal was being celebrated. Roy Evans brought him on in place of Rob Jones. And it's the ooh-ah song going around in praise of a Frenchman. For him, joy upon joy. Another championship for him this season, after one that went away last. And now it looks like the cup too. McManaman. McManaman. Robbed by Keane, well played. He was at odds with the world at the beginning, Roy Keane, but he's had a really good second half. McAteer it was, appeal for hands, I can only assume.
Well, amazing finish, isn't it, to the season, really, to Eric Cantona. Gary Neville coming on defensively, no doubt, and actually just going to tighten it up the last minute or two. But Liverpool, of course, could have done with staying Collymore on now. They've made the substitution, Rush for Collymore. Normally when they go behind, they do then play the three of them up. Michael Thomas, though, in midfield has come on. But probably Manchester would deserve it for the first half performance, but you have to say it has been a poor match, hasn't it?
Well, I reckon that Eric Cantona's goals, winning goals and equalising goals, have been worth 21 points in the championship battle. And now it would seem he's got the decisive goal in the FA Cup final. Thomas. Won by Scholes. We're into the last minute of the match. And here's the man in possession of everything at the moment. Ooh, loses possession. And Keane is around to win it back.
Well,
so
I think
the case.
A timely moment perhaps to come in on the Littlewood's man of the match really in the last minute, because I think that man there has been quite outstanding. His hard work, and you know, in the second half in particular, some of the tackles he's made, he's got forward to support his front men, he's been there defensively, and in the first half he passed it around well, but I think it's in the second half when perhaps Liverpool were getting into the game, could have got perhaps a little bit of dominance and got that chance and got ahead. He got the tackles in, he worked back, and for me, over the 90 minutes, a thoroughly deserved man of the match for Roy Keane, who's had an outstanding season for them.
Gary Neville is the final substitute for Manchester United. David Beckham has gone off. The injured player is John Barnes. Time allowed for the stoppages. It's Roy Evans' season to end without a trophy. Is Alec Ferguson's season to end thanks to the goal by Eric Cantona, with a status never previously enjoyed by a football club manager. Roy Keane, Trevor Brooking's choice as man of the match. Littlewood's man of the match, and the Littlewoods FA Cup going to Old Trafford. Clearance by Redknapp. Michael Thomas. Manchester United supporters encouraging the referee with a final whistle, and it is blown. The two managers greet each other, and Alec Ferguson has done something never previously achieved. And Norman Davies, his kit manager, retires now after 24 years, again with the winning side. But Eric Cantona, the lonely figure who walked around this stadium 12 months ago, has been the man of the hour again. I remember saying then he owed it both to himself and to the club to prove he was a man to come back and play for United. My heaven, how he's done that. The deserved footballer of the year and the scorer of the winning goal that gives Alec Ferguson the double-double. Disappointed faces from a disappointing team. John Barnes led a side which was almost unrecognisable from the side that has thrilled so often this season, in what has been a very good season. Ian Rush has played his last game in Liverpool colours and really hardly got a touch after coming on as a substitute. Looked as though the story might be set up for him, but it wasn't. It was set up for a Frenchman who wants to stay here, and all credit to Andy Cole, who personally must be disappointed, but for his club is delighted. Steve Bruce there at the back too, disappointed to have missed out, the club captain. Simple statistic, one goal scored by Cantona. Everything drained away from Liverpool.
You've got to congratulate Manchester United, haven't you? When you think Mark Hughes, Andre Conchelsis and Paul Ince was sold at the start of the season, and here they are with that group of players that hasn't been strengthened, celebrating the double, and the youngsters did them proud today.
Waiting to talk to us is the manager who's achieved the double-double.
I can't believe that it ever gets much better than this.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I'm so proud of him. Oh, fabulous day for us. Fabulous day.
And have you had a more influential player this season than the goal scorer, Eric Cantona?
No, I don't think so. I thought he was quiet today, but his goal, magnificent composure and accuracy. But marvellous. I thought for me, Roy Keane was the best man in the park. I thought he was absolutely magnificent.
He was Trevor Brooking's man of the match, actually, too.
Yeah, no surprise.
Did you think a goal was coming?
No. No, it had to be something like that. In fairness, their goalkeepers did 2 magnificent saves, whereas Peters had nothing to do really, not any of those shots.
Well, it's not new to you, but we've seen from your reaction how much all this still means to you.
Ah, it's fabulous. I'm so proud.
Alex Robin.
How can he be left out of the French squad, is my thought about Eric Cantona. But first, it is the losers who climb the steps to receive their consolation medals. But as they go up, let's have a word with Eric Cantona.
Is this the best moment of your Manchester United career?
It was important. After I've done the double 2 years ago, again this season, it's a great moment. Now we can go on holiday and have a nice holiday.
And what a contrast for you from 12 months ago.
Yeah, that's life, up and down. But
Thanks for joining us. Congratulations.
thank you very much.
I don't know where the seagulls are, but he's certainly flying high. But now, disappointed and disappointing Liverpool side. They pass their chairman, David Moores, collect their medals. John Barnes does have one winning success. Bill Babb starting with the losers, Jason McAteer, Mark Wright, who knows what it's like to win. Feel sorry for David James, who did make a quite brilliant save that denied Cantona, but in the end Cantona had the last say. How often that's been the case. And finally, Ian Rush, with his last appearance, goes down the steps as a loser, but so often in his life and his career he's been a winner. Steve Bruce, well, there's a little debate there about who's going to go up and get the cup. Nice touch. I may be club captain, says Steve Bruce. How typical of the man, but it's your day. There waits the Littlewood-sponsored FA Cup. And a very proud Frenchman leads the way. Joy upon joy for him. Take up hand from Duke and Duchess, and the Duchess hands the cup for Manchester United to take back to Old Trafford, applauded by the losers. Martin Edwards, the Manchester United chairman, with a word in Cantona's ear. Young David Beckham, Gary Neville just got on at the end. Gary Pallister, who's seen it all before. Nicky Butt, a loser last year, a winner this time. Paul Scholes, likewise. Andy Cole, who was cup-tied last year, gets a winner's medal. Not too sure about Paul Scholes' hat. Ryan Giggs, full of smiles. Well, he's won it all in this country. Now the challenges to Europe. And I think that he will allow himself more than a brief few seconds to enjoy this victory. Let's assume he can hang on to the cup. It's not the traditional way to carry the cup down. Tommy Docherty put the top on his head. He declines to do that, and probably is a good judge. Everybody wants to congratulate Sir Bobby Charlton there. It is a remarkable achievement. disappointing finale as far as the football match was concerned, but not in the final outcome, as suggested at the start. In the end, for supporters, it's the result, not the manner of its achievement, which counts. He's having a real problem getting through the crowd. Well, that's the sort of problem you get when you've had a double-double. Steve McManaman, who was man of the match last two occasions at Wembley, not today. And Robbie Fowler looking at a loser's medal and probably saying to himself, I'll be back one day for a winner's. The cup is back together, and the manager showing good speed. Joins his youngsters and his experienced players, who together have formed a team that was so doubted at the start of the season. He made room for the youngsters by getting rid of some famous names, and he ends up by winning both. And a side captained by Eric Cantona, I can't think of another foreigner other than those from the Republic of Ireland who've had that privilege. Manchester United's day. At the end, as the song says, they are the champions, they're also the cup winners. What a contrast as John Barnes walks away. Still packed at the Manchester United end, and rightly so. Ooh, Cantona. Many would have said it as the ball dropped to him. And back it went. Destined